So this, as you'd have seen, is my pearl wood fiberglass kit, but this time, unlike the last video I did, which was on this set of drums, this is actually the full set of drums which I have, which kind of expanded a little bit after I did that video. So this has been my main gigging kit for the last sort of 2.5 years or so. What I normally do is I don't travel with an 8-piece kit, first of all, but what I do normally do is either play 2 up, 1 down, or 1 up, 1 down, depending on how I feel. But the sizes on this kit are as follows: 8x7, 10x7, 12x8, 14x14 on the floor, and 16x16 on the floor. And then you've also got on the left, I think technically this isn't actually part of the same kit, but the finish is near enough for me to where you wouldn't notice, and it's essentially the same sort of build out anyway. So this is a 15x6.5 on the left, which is kind of tuned down a little, and then you've got the actual snare for this kit, which is a 14x6.5, which is tuned a little bit more. It's actually sort of a bit more middly rather than sort of high. But 7-ply Kapur shells with obviously with a layer of fiberglass applied to the inner part of the shell. Headways on top, I've got Emperor white suedes on all of the drums. On the bottom though, on the 8 and the 10, I've actually got clear ambassadors, and then on the bottom of the 12, 14 and 16, I've actually got coated ambassadors. Normally I wouldn't actually sort of chop and change with the heads. The reason why the 12 has got the coated on basically is because I have been using that drum. If I do a 4-piece kit, then that's the mounted tom that I use, and I was going through a period where I was actually using the coated head just to dry the sound out a little bit more on the bottom. So that's why that's there. I haven't bothered to change it out because at the end of the day you're not going to see it, and it doesn't really make that much difference overall. A couple of things you'll notice on the kit, on the 12 and the 16, there looks like there's a cable hanging out of them. That's because it is hanging out of them. Those 2 drums have got internal mics in them, so when I do actually use the 12 and the 16 together as a kit, they are internally mic'd. When I use the 10, when I use the 8 and the 10, and either the 14 or 16 together, I use external mics. Just because I found that the continuity between the 8 and the 10 and the 16, you're getting a lot of sort of crack and sound off the top head off the 2 mounted toms, and then you're just getting this sort of less attacky but quite full rounded sound out of the floor tom, and it didn't quite sound right. So that's basically what I do. So I haven't really bothered to sort of tape the internal cables down because they're not going to get knocked around or anything in here. And the other thing about this kit, which actually took me by a little bit of surprise, because it was only recently that I even discovered this was the case. The 8 and 14 I ordered at the tail end of 2019. Now the 14 turned up first because that's the one I ordered first. That turned up in 2019, and then the 8 turned up in early 2020. Now the thing that I did not realise, when I put the order in, I said, oh, can they do me an 8-inch drum? And no one said no. And obviously they did it, and I was quite happy and thrilled when it turned up. But what I didn't know at the time, and only came to find out sort of a couple of months later, was the 8 isn't even listed in the catalogue. So I don't know if it's a special order. They certainly wouldn't have just done it for me. But anyway, I really like the 8-inch drum on this. I have 2 pearl kits, and they both got the same size. They're both the same, the head sizes. The depths are slightly different on the Crystal Beat. I think with the 2 smaller toms and then the floor toms. The floor toms are slightly shallow, more shallow. But other than that, I mean, I don't normally play with the 3 up, 2 down sort of setup, or 1 to the side, but I really enjoy playing on this in here. It'll probably be up for a little bit longer, given that there are no gigs going around at the moment. But this is what the kit looks like. This is what it sounds like. Thanks for watching. See you again.